Hi. What's up, everybody? Mayman Bennett back here and again, and welcome back to the Nacho Mama's Fantasy Football League Volume 4. Let's get into today's rankings. Should we? Shall we? Let's. Sasai.
Sasai.
Okay, so welcome back to the Showgram. It's program and show combined into one word, the Showgram. 12th place in these here rankings. No surprise, it's the Fancy Lads. That's right. My notes include nothing. So we're going to move on to the 11th place team. The 11th place team in these here rankings is where we begin our slate of teams that are all 5-8. That is their current record. Is a record that's 5-8, 5 wins, 8 losses. And we're going to begin with the 11th place team in these here rankings. And it is the Bongtown Herbologists. That's right. It's Andrew's team. None of these teams are going to be in the playoffs. None of the 5-8 teams. It's just the way it is. Our years have come to a close. We are all tied for who gives a shit. That being said, Andrew's going to come in at the 11th place slot for now. 77 points. There you go. He lost to Michael's team by about 30. And I blame Dak Prescott, Dalvin Cook, and Cortland Sutton only coming up with 2.5 points. I'm not into that. So I have a lot of the same pain that Andrew feels. I'm right there with you. We're going to move on to the 10th place team in these here rankings. And it's O-Side Way to go. That's right. Big D coming through. He got a win. He got a win against the venerable team Diaper Funds, which is one of the best teams we have, Corey's team. It's great to see Corey get knocked down a peg or two, if you ask me. So, he's riding a big high, and, what comes quickly goes quickly, as they say. So, what else do we got? Should be another couple more fun weeks of fantasy play. And, better luck next year. I know that Darren's going to be back next year. I haven't actually talked to him about it, but I have a good sneaky suspicion that he will be back, and with a vengeance as well. So, moving on to the 9th place team. 9th place team is Chateau St. Bargos Winery. That's my team. We're all basically tied for the who cares. I was projected to win this week by about 40 points. I lost by about 20. So the projections can suck it. What are you going to do? I'm really ecstatic with my Jonathan Taylor selection. I think moving forward, like next year's draft, for instance, players like Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and obviously Christian McCaffrey, all of those guys, and Derrick Henry for that matter, all of those guys, their average draft position was well above where Jonathan Taylor was taken. I don't think that'll be the case. I think Jonathan Taylor immediately shoots up to being one of the top selections in a fantasy draft. So we'll see what happens. Moving on from my loser team to another loser team is the 6th place team. No, not 6, not there yet. We're into the 8th. 8th place team in these here rankings is it's Big T. That's right. Ha 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 ha. It's a Big T coming through. My notes for Tanner's team was that if his fantasy team was as good as his musical abilities, he'd be undefeated, which is a compliment while also a, kind of a slap, kind of a backhanded compliment at that. But he has got a new song out called Brothers. Maybe I can I link it? Let's see if I can. Some catchy shit. Okay, we're going to move on to the 7th place team in these here rankings, and it is Grand Salami time, baby. That's right. It's Katie's team just percolating up to the 7th place spot. Close matchup with Alan's team. 3-point difference at the end of it all, and very, very close. I do believe in another universe, not this one, but in another plane of existence, exists a NFL season where Nick Chubb, George Kittle, Gronkowski, and Aaron Rodgers all played every game all year, and they did well. And in that scenario, Katie's team is undefeated, headed to the playoffs. Didn't happen. Maybe in another lifetime, we will move on to the 6th place team. The 6th place team in these here rankings is it's Team Rob's. They got another win. I keep coming back to this. Last week he was the fungus that can't die no matter how much you spray. This week, it's like when you get a bad cut and you didn't clean it. So it's like you didn't, I don't know, some other analogy. 2 games left. He's 7-6. He's 2 games back from a playoff slot. Means a lot of certain things have to take place for a guy like Evan or a guy like Alan to get in, to figure out how to get into the playoffs. But their window is still open. Where do we go from here? I don't know. It starts this weekend with a match between Team Rob's and Big T. Does Big T want to be a little fly in the punch bowl and try and win? I'm sure he does. But is Evan just going to continue to move forward? We'll see. Then there's another matchup, and it includes the 5th place team in these here rankings. 5th place team in these here rankings is Master Cook. That's right. Alan's the darkest horse. Like Black Beauty, but darker. Like Black Beauty, but at night. Like Black Beauty and Batman had a baby, and it's a dark horse mixed with the dark night. It's night time. So it's night out, no moon. The moon is not shining, so there's none of that. No street lights either. There's no light ambience of any sort. It's dark. It's about as dark as it gets. It's like a black hole. It's the absence of light. So, Master Cook, Alan's team. Close win against Katie's squad this week. And if he's looking to get a shot at playoff legitimacy, he has to take on the toughest of them all, Under the Steps Boogeyman. He has to get a win. Alan is in must-win territory. He's got to win twice to give himself a shot. Not only does he have to win twice, but he has to hope that one of the playoff teams loses twice. Ain't that something? Well, let's get into those teams, shall we? We're getting into the playoff caliber teams. This is the top 4. Top 4. The 4 horsemen of the Lock Apocalypse is starting with the 4th place team, and it is... I'm about to break. It's Limp Biscuits. So, Michael's team, they got a win against the perennial doormat, the Fancy Lads. I'm speaking into the future. He has a matchup against the Fancy Lads this weekend. That almost assuredly will be a victory, and a victory against such a team will lock him in. It will lock him in to a playoff slot, but he is not a slam dunk the funk, put it up just yet. He can lock himself in, but he has not locked himself in as of now. So, and who knows? Maybe Whitney will blow the dust off his roster and actually pull out a victory, and that would really spice things up. Moving on to the 3rd place team, and the 3rd place team is Kicking It with Younghoe. Samuel did his thing, got a win against the Winery, just as expected. Saw a great Seals game with Samuel this past week as well. Michael was there too. It's fun to see lacrosse, in person. Great seats, cheap beer, and the breather as well. So a lot of great things happened there, including but not limited to, he won. He won his fantasy matchup against me, which didn't lock him into the playoffs, but it kind of did. You know, he's basically right there. He has a not so easy matchup against Grand Salami time. Katie's team. Can Katie's team knock this team off their trajectory? I think possibly. Only time will tell. We'll move on to the second place team. Second place team in these here rankings is Team Diaper Funds. Team Diaper Funds, that's right. Corey, baby. He lost his matchup. Therefore, is a little vulnerable. He's in must-win territory, and he's going against the Bong Town Herbologist. So, if you are Evan or Alan, you want Michael to lose to the Fancy Lads. That's a tall drink of order for that. You want Samuel to lose to Katie's Grand Salami time. It's tough. That's a tough request as well. And you also want Corey to lose to Andrew's Bong Town Herbologist. Those are the scenarios. So all three of those teams can lock themselves into the playoffs with a victory this weekend. If they lose and one of those other lesser teams wins, then the door will remain slightly ajar. But let's go ahead and get to the number one team, shall we? Number one team in these here rankings, it's Ben. It's Under the Steps Boogeyman, number one. Just this one. He's the captain of the ship. He's the only 10-3 team. Doesn't matter who he's going up against. He could ice himself and not even play a player and lose the next 2 weeks, and he would still have a record necessary to get into the playoffs. He's a lock. He's what we call a lock, baby. But what does that exactly mean for those that might be in the playoffs going up against him? Well, we have people like Najee Harris against the Chiefs and the Browns. Matt Stafford against the Vikings and the Ravens. Deebo Samuel against the Titans and the Texans. And he will be back. Those are very, very favorable matchups for some of Ben's star players coming right on time. If I was a playoff contending team, which I am not, I would be fearful of Ben's squad at this juncture. So, that's all I got. Oh, you know what? I will say one more thing. I'll share one more thing. The guy that got the most points this week was Master Cook. It was Alan's team. Let's give him a round of applause. Master Cook has now done it 1, 2, 3 times this season. And this past week, he did it with only 117 points. So, and also, back-to-back weeks for you, boy. I'm paying attention, Alan. I'm with you. I'm with you, buddy. I'm rooting for you. Back-to-back weeks, most points scored. Alan last week, and Alan this week. There you go. So, what else can we say that hasn't already been said? You know, we can leave it at that. Good luck to the teams this weekend that still have a chance. And for the rest of us, we will, we'll eat our feelings or drink our feelings or just shove them down. Shove them down, away. And be happy about it. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Arbor Day, other such holidays. I'm in the Christmas spirit. And what can I say? Have a good day.